Okay, welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan, and Tupids, Mike. Mike, what's the episode title today, my friend?
So we're on episode 26, and today's episode is called Bolly, Robot Toilets, and Cutty Sark. Yeah.
Yeah, big night out.
Big night out. And I think we should probably review Who's Called Tupids, judging by the press photos.
Yeah. Hey, that was actually about you doing two tastings at once.
I know that, but people listening don't know. They just think I'm a fatty.
I actually went for a run this morning and last night, and I'll probably go again tomorrow because the photos weren't kind. So
yeah, I won't be going for a run because I'm still just about able to sit down. I went to a physio yesterday, and I said, "Do you think when do you reckon I'll get running again after this?" He went, "Are you any good at swimming?" And I went, "No, I'm not." He went, "Get better.
Maybe give it."
I was like,
"Oh, give it a go. Maybe just give it a try."
Yeah, no, I think I'm taking advice.
Give you like a DVD of The Little Mermaid or something to take away with you.
He goes, and I just do backstroke if I were you. I was like, oh my God. Like, how long a backstroke do you need to do, to burn off 500, 1,000 calories?
Like a day.
You're going to be there like a day.
Just a day in the swimming pool. I hate backstroke because you don't really know where you feel like you don't know, that you're going in that direction. You have to check every now and then. Where's the side? What's going on?
Yeah, you're just gonna hit people when you.
You need to get a swimming.
That's my injury.
Get a swimming pool just for yourself, so you can do backstroke for like a day to burn 500 calories.
Yeah,
beautiful life.
Money well spent, I reckon. Lara will be
let's talk about that picture then. When we were in that picture when we were on the boat, we'll get into it in a bit, but honestly, it looked like someone sprayed that jacket onto me. I need to get some bigger clothes or lose more weight.
Yeah. Also, I spent probably half an hour ironing my shirt to make sure it was perfectly creased. I've got a thing about ironing anyway. I'm quite a good ironer. And then within 4 minutes of being out of the hotel on a boat, I saw a picture of myself and went, I look like I've been dragged through backwards. You look like some sort of a golf for a day at the races, and I looked like a washed up game show host. we weren't a great combo, were we? Yeah. No, not the best.
Oh, dearie me.
Not
That's why we do the podcast and not anything else, right? You're not supposed to see our faces, so it is what it is. Right, Mike, what's been in your glass this week? And what's been up your ass?
What's been in my glass? I was lucky enough to take part in another tweet tasting from Mr. Steve Rush, aka the Whiskey Wire. And we got into the Turntable Spirits, which is a new blend. Very funky packaging, trying to sort of take on some of the old stalwarts.
Packaging looks great.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, really good. Massive samples as well. So thank you, Turntable. Everyone involved, I'm sure, will go back to those a little bit more. But they had 3 drams. One was called Paradise Funk. One was Bittersweet Symphony, like it. And the last one was Smoking Riff. Smoking Riff was clearly, hands down, my favourite by far. Just a really decent dram. And they've gone a bit compass boxy because they've actually released the composition of the blend, which not a lot of people are doing. So it was 28% North British Virgin Oak, 24% Craigellachie X. I'm going to mess it. Is it X Puncheon? Massive barrel, I think. 21% Knockthoo, 18% Kalila, and then 9% Kalila X Red Wine, if I can get my words out. Just really good, loads of smoked bacon, lime, a little bit cordite, sort of smoke on the nose. And weirdly, it smelled like the white bit of a cream egg. It was 100% bang on. Bizarre. So got into that one, and then tastes all kind of similar, but loads going on with it. Really good dram, that Smoking Riff. So I would happily get a bottle of that. I'll check the price, but I think it was reasonable as well.
Go on,
don't know what it is off the bat.
50 quid, 60 quid, 65 quid.
I think so. I think it was in that ballpark. It was decent. We can edit
Smoking
this out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's the best one, was it? Of the three?
For me, I really got on with that one. It was like, I like peated whiskey, as you know, anyway, but it sort of had just a few different elements that made it sort of just a bit, okay. And maybe it might be in the red wine cask, because as you know, red wine pervert over here. Just sort of
I heard
elevated
people mentioning the purple haze one before, I think. And I haven't tried any of them yet. So, but my interest is being piqued because it's kind of cool. But I think blends are getting trendy again. I mean, I drink blended malt. I don't know. I've always got a couple of bottles of blended malt and some blends in the cupboard. But it's a good idea to have like the kind of transparency around it, isn't it? And the marketing's really good.
If you know what it is, this is where you can like teach people what makes that different from other blends and stuff, and how its component parts. Then, if you really like something, you got like for that one, you've got 5 different components. You then can go and source yourself and see which one it is that you're liking and differentiate it and try and bring it out. You can always buy one and then buy another 5 afterwards.
So that's what's been in your glass. And what's been up your arse then this week? What's been annoying you?
What's been up my arse? So this is episode 26. It should have been episode 27.
Oh, what happened, Mike?
So what happened was we probably had our most famous guest to date.
Tell me about it.
And so what we did, we pressed record on Zoom, which we always do as a backup. And then we do our little preamble. We have a little chat about the episode, how we're going to structure it, blah, blah, blah. And then my computer just crashed. So fine, restarted, went in, pressed record, carried on. Guest came in, did the whole pod, showed recording in the top left-hand corner.
We had a right laugh, didn't we?
Done. Yeah, we really, probably the best episode we've ever produced. Would have been award-winning. Could have elevated us to maybe even BBC Radio, just based on that one podcast.
We don't do patrons, but if we did a patron, it pod's so exclusive that no one will ever listen to it.
Yeah, so it's annoying because it was showing us recording, and then pressed end as I usually do, and then you get this massive Zoom converting thing. I leave my laptop.
Are we
going to
say who it was? Are we allowed to say that, or?
Yeah, I think so. So I think he might come on again.
Okay, so we recorded. We had a great time recording a podcast that may never air with Paul Hawksby from TalkSport.
TalkSport,
also one of the main writers on Harry Hill. And all we can say is we enjoyed it. That's it, right?
Yeah,
it was like samples. Had a really good chat with him, and
yeah, we had so many good stories out of him, his history, things he's worked on, like. I'm trying to recover it with Zoom at the moment, so that might still come to light. So I've got
we'll have to do something in January with him or something.
Yeah, I've sort of said, like I said, after Christmas, we'll see if we can get another one going, and we'll try and be a bit more professional about it this time. It's annoying because, like, I might just upgrade his equipment as well, just so he can record at his end. Because the backups failed as well. It's just like, God, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So that's been up my arse, as well as a massive Wi-Fi failure when we tried to record this last night. So technology can do one at the moment. That's me. How about you? What's been in your glass?
Well, I've just had a couple of bits and pieces, really, not much. I haven't really drunk anything since Tuesday. We're now on Saturday. I think before that, well, we did have that lovely night with Paul that you just discussed, and on that night we drank a fine selection, but I can't say what we had in case it ever airs. I
mean, you probably can. It doesn't matter. I don't think there's any surprises.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So, we had we tried the Macmira.
We started with the Collingwood.
Was that the maple cask? Yeah,
Canadian blended whiskey, 40%, finished in maple cask.
We just went through them quickly, eh?
Yeah.
So we had that one. We tried the Santis. Yeah. That's the one, I think it's a sherry cask that's kind of got meaty and earthy, but sweet too.
A little Swiss whiskey.
Tried the Bunnahabhain
2022
which I hadn't actually tried. I only tried the 2021. Very good. I mean, I think I wish I'd done it side by side against the 2021 to see what I preferred. I feel like
I've still got lots left.
Yeah, I feel like the 2021 was better than the 2022 when it got down to the
because that's the one.
No, when it got down to the last third of the bottle, right, or the ends of the bottle.
Well, that's because you finished it in one go, as per instructions of Michael Henry.
That's a while ago now. I've still been kind of bottle killing stuff before that, and we finished on the Macmira that private cast, didn't we? The
Mac Mira Insane Smoke Cram
extra smoky,
is what they should have called that.
Yeah. I was lucky enough that because I'd sent you guys sort of samples and had a couple of pours off it, a bit of oxygen got in the bottle. But before that, it just smelt like someone had chucked a grenade in a petrol station.
Yeah, it was. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. Like the smokier the better. Like I'm like, challenge me, but my word, that was literally like head in the bonfire in the morning,
isn't it?
just chewing coals.
Yeah. I think
liked it though.
Paul joked, not one to give to people on their first peated whiskey ever. Yeah. Hey, you'll like this peated whiskey. Have a little nosh on that. Oh,
yeah,
that's not for you. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
No, it was. It's a mad dram. But I really enjoyed that.
Cool.
It was good.
We're going to talk about the.
How about what's been up your arse? Anything good? Anything bad? Where are you?
Well, no, mostly positive. Had loads of fun on Tuesday. Had fun on Monday recording that pod that may never air with Paul.
Stop
Hawksby.
winding me up. Stop. Winding
I had a
me
really
up.
good week, to be fair. So yeah, I don't think anything else. I just need to get on the exercise before Christmas. It's like I said in the Cal horrific episode. Things are just sort of running away from me a bit, and when you go to try on all your smart clothes and realise they're all a little bit too tight, it's so frustrating. And then you're like, do you buy new clothes and just accept the fact that you're getting bigger, or do you try and correct it and lose some weight? And I'm always on the second side, but I just haven't managed to sort of turn the tide on that. So that's probably been the thing that's been annoying me most.
I've got like sections in my cupboard of like fat me, skinny me. So I've always got whatever size I'm in, because I am sort of like quite inflatable either way.
You
quite
can't
quickly.
have
I do
something
drop and
for
gain.
everything though. Like, but anyway, that's the thing that's been most annoying me.
But my blazers go from 48 down to 42 in my cupboard. So I've got like enough there to cover me. Probably should have gone with a bigger one.
That's very organised. I just find buying clothes just sucks all the energy away from me. I like every 6 months or every year, I'll just buy a bunch of clothes at once, and that's it. I'm done. Yeah, for ages. When I was younger and trendy, I used to go out to shops and boutique shops and sit on the sofa and have a coffee and pick out jeans and do this. And now I'm just like, nope. In fact, actually,
H&M.
The absolute winner is if I give some instructions to the missus when she goes to like TK Maxx, and then she comes back with stuff, and I just try and go, yeah, keep this. That one, no, that's a no. Take that back. Bliss.
To be fair, I am like unbranded as hell on clothes. I'll go to, like t-shirt printing shops. I'll find their supplier and get like the Gildan t-shirts and just buy 10.
Can you print
for like two quid each?
Hashtag 2 puds on the front of it for me. They're like, what's this? What's this 2 puds? You're like, it's like my personal brand. Right. That's how I roll. Right, we should get into talking about we both had imposter syndrome a bit. We were kindly invited out to go to this Cutty Sark event, the sort of 100-year celebration.
The centenary.
From the French owning company, and I think kindly also through
La Martinique.
Ian Allen, and also the lovely marketing manager, was it Lily? I think. Laurie, I want to say. That's right, correct.
Laurie. I mean, your pronunciation was far better than mine. With this Renault Clio, you're really spoiling us.
We were invited out to that. And so we both had imposter syndrome a bit. But I mean, obviously, we were delighted to be invited. So thank you very much. And we had a lot of fun. So we're going to recount that and also talk about Cutty Sark, the whiskey, because, well, I'm a fan. I was already a bit, because you'd sent me some samples. I've tried it in the past. And it's given me a new focus to look at it and realise just that there's some really good value, cheap. I mean, cheap is such a nasty word, but really good value, affordable.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And then I didn't really know much about the sort of history of it, other than the fact it's been around for obviously a long time. So then we got looking into, where we were chatting to Laurie, and we got looking into some of the history, and it's pretty cool. So,
yeah. Mate, I said at the time, I was so glad that I sent you that blind sample of the Prohibition bottle and you picked it above the Glencoe
That's just luck, isn't it?
It's pure. Imagine you said, God, what is that? It's absolute rubbish. You'd be like, no.
No, but it made for a fun story, right, on the night.
Yeah.
So this was a 100-year celebration, which we'd invited along to, and as we said, we turned up smart as we could. Mike in a shirt that was looked unironed, and me in a jacket that seemingly was far too small for me. And we were staying in the hotel in central London, and the Lalit, yeah, it's an Indian hotel, beautiful, one of the hotels of the world, right? So they'd pulled out all the stops on this thing, hadn't they? I mean, this is a real huge event. We asked some people that go to this kind of stuff regularly, is this usual? And they were like, no, this is very big. This is massive. Yes. And I mean, so
my mind was blown from the off. So we got to this hotel. Again, as per usual, my admin is on point. So I was there earlier than Duncan, settling in, got showered. No, sorry, before I got showered, walked into the bathroom and I was like, oh my God, they've got robot toilets. So I immediately just sent a WhatsApp to Duncan, mate, they've got robot toilets. And I was sitting there excited, looking at the phone. He read it, no reply. And I'm like, fine. Left it 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I was like, did you see my message? They've got robot toilets. And he's like, yeah, I've traveled to South Korea. I'm like,
wait, language. Fish sticks off.
And I was like, oh my God. I was mind blown.
In a way, what's been up your arse this week was probably a lovely trickle of warm water.
It was, yeah. Because it was I had such a nice, I'll spare you the details exactly, but I wasted probably 25, half an hour experience in that. And I was like, I don't trust that this has done the job it's claiming to do. So I did a safety and checked clean as a whistle. It is the way forward. I want one in my house. They are amazing. So, but all that time wasted, I went to get dressed.
It was funny. That was your favorite thing. I mean,
I didn't bring any socks with me. So I had to run down to a shop, waddle with my back down to a shop and pick up some mustard coloured socks and then get back. So it was all a bit stressed last minute as usual for me.
Well,
that wasn't my favourite thing about the whole occasion. I was just saying
it was lovely to see how excited you were. So then they'd organised a boat tour, which I guess I hadn't really paid attention. So we go and get on the boat tour and we're like, we know we're going to cut to the Cutty Sark, which is just, beautiful. Such a stunning location and such an iconic piece of history, right? And so we're both on this boat together and we they gave you was it a mint julep thing? It was a mint julep pineapple with, I think.
Obviously Cutty Sark.
It was very tasty. And these really oversized kind of tin, bright yellow Cutty Sark cups. Tumbler. Mug, really, like a tin mug. So we're drinking that and we're going along. We're thinking, this is actually, there's quite a long time until we're supposed to get there. And then we realised we're actually on a tour of London going along the Thames, going along, just picking up various people. And we planted ourselves at the back of this boat right next to these two giant, because it's on one of those Uber boats,
massive engine, huge.
So we're back there and
loud.
We were sort of trapped at the back, just right by the engine, unable to go and get more drinks top up. For an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. Negative. Duncan again.
It was
good. It was only when we realised we needed to be going east.
Very friendly.
And we're heading west, and then we sort of went past and saw Big Ben.
We need to do a shout out to the Whiskey Boys blog and Jim and Nicola, don't we?
Yes, we do. They were they eased us into whiskey events, I would say. Highbrow whiskey events, big time. They who was it? Nicola and Big Andy.
No, Jim.
Is it Andy?
Jim.
Quick. Cancel that. Nicola and Big Jim.
But you've renamed him to Andy. So Nicola and Andy it is. Sorry, loads of people in kilts, loads of people dressed up. So everyone was dressed up immaculately. There was they had a theme of yellow going on, so everyone needs little yellow flourishes, except me. I couldn't find anything.
What yellow did you have?
Well, I did. I had a pin badge that they handed me. That was yellow. But anyway, so then we the boat gets to where we're going to go to, which is to the Cutty Sark. Get off. Obviously, the lighting's starting to go down, so it's all lit up. First thing that happens is, as we're walking off the boat to get into the thing, there's only a Nando's there we're both absolutely famished.
Nando's.
And honestly, that must be the Nando's with one of the best views in the UK. And it took every piece of willpower to not just pop in and get a quick Nando's, like a pre-dinner, cheeky Nando's, like a pre-dinner dinner. Oh, I would have loved that. So we go in, and then they've organised cocktails, haven't they? Using the Cutty Sark whiskies.
Yeah, really good.
You wrote them down,
the cocktail menus, I managed to grab a picture of that, and they were strong, to say the least.
That one with shortbread was on the teacup.
Yeah, so we had the Manhattan, which was the Cutty Sark Prohibition, oolong tea vermouth, bitters, and then a shortbread biscuit on the side.
It was quite strong, wasn't it?
I was really loving the biscuit as well.
Quite strong.
Yeah, that got my attention.
Came with almost like a half a pack of shortbread. just in case you weren't worried about the calories in. I mean, I ate the shortbread, just to be clear. You can't not eat shortbread. But just in case you weren't worried about the calories enough, they were just giving out like sort of sticks of like 300 calorie shortbread with this cocktail.
Yeah.
Oh my days.
I like the attitude change on us as well, because we were like, look, when there was glasses of what might have been Prosecco or something, or champagne. We went, no, stick to whiskey, we'll have a cocktail. And then one of the waitresses came past and just saw a massive bottle of Bollinger in her hand. She was like, do you want to top up? I went, can you get me a glass? So Duncan sent her off to get glasses. We had like Bolly, and then, we destroyed a lot of Bolly before we even sat down. When we sat down at the wrong table, which was all Duncan's fault.
Wait, there's been a consistent theme this week of you getting stuff wrong. We managed to lose the recording. You managed to mess up. We couldn't record last night. And you sat us at the wrong table. But it doesn't matter, does it? Then we moved. So I think the thing is, because we kind of went there with this like kind of like imposter syndrome, which I think took a while to shake off, i.e. probably about 6 drinks.
Yeah.
We just figured we'd be sat on like the outside on the peripheral, but it actually transpired we were like on a central table really close to the stage. So again, thank you to whoever put us there with like Neil Ridley, James, the managing director of like Whiskey Magazine or something. I say AD. Yeah, you know AD.
From the Three Drinkers, and on his own now.
Of course, Laurie, the marketing manager or director.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other people on there as well. Very nice, lovely table. Yeah,
it was good. Good central spot. We got to see the bands. We got to see the speeches.
Oh, they did a sea shanty, didn't they?
They did a sea shanty. Absolutely. Yeah. We should. That's not a bad idea, Duncan.
Once was a man who skinny dipped in sea. The name of the man was David Riley. His shirt came off, his shorts came down. It's cold, he said, it's cold. Soon he had to leave the Humber to drink Cutty Sark from a tumbler one day. When the bottle is done, he'll probably buy one more.
Let's get on to talking about the whiskey then. So, the glassware was on point. So we're sat on a table with the Cutty Sark above us, like the would you call it the
tea clipper?
Yeah, would you call the underside of the boat
the rudder? No, not the rudder.
Bow, maybe.
Bow. No, port bow. Bow, maybe. I don't know. The
underside of the boat was above everybody. It runs throughout the whole room. It's an absolutely stunning location. If you ever I've walked past it a few times, and I regret now the fact that I've never actually gone in. Obviously, now I have been in to see it, because you can look at it from the outside. I'm like, looking at it from the outside, that's job done, right? But actually sitting in there and being underneath it is an incredible venue. So, and there's so much heritage tied up in it. But we should talk about the glassware. I was blown away by the quality of the glassware at that event. The money just in the glassware, I don't know where they got it from, but it was like 5 stars.
I wonder how much they lost, because you took about 20 glasses in your bag, didn't you? Nah,
come on, easy now. Easy now. Just to be clear,
it was lovely. It was like gold.
No glassware left the building with me.
No. Other than your cup.
Other than the cup that was, handed to you on the way out. So the glassware was like top end, and there's little details like that. The table layouts, everything. It was really on point. The band was great. The lighting was great. You're under the Cutty Sark, so I hope we're setting the scene. This was a really incredible event. They had a marketing video to launch to sort of repush. I think there's a focus around sort of repushing the Cutty Sark whiskey as a brand, right? And I was looking online.
Well, it's like they said, for a blend and a brand to have lasted 100 years.
But it was originally created by BBR, right? Berry, Burrows and Rudd. And then I think it got sold on a couple of times and it's ended up in the ownership that it is. And there's kind of like a thinking that maybe it's more drunk by kind of older drinkers now. So I think they need to find like a younger audience for it, which they should really be able to do. It's got kind of this yellow funky brand. And so we're having dinner, and this is actually what happened to us. We're having dinner, and I like what we've had some champagne, we've had a couple of cocktails, and I kind of try the white wine. I'm thinking, I don't know. And they've got a bottle of Cutty Sark in the middle of the table. And this is the honest truth. I actually decided I'd rather just drink Cutty Sark. I'd rather drink Cutty Sark, the whiskey, than the wine. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the wine, but I think it was just the vibe I was in. So during dinner, with all 3 courses, I drunk Cutty Sark whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were, to be fair, I think we were the second table.
Oh, yeah.
Because I glanced over at Ian Allen's table and Whiskey
Boutique
Discovery
Dave was there as well.
Dave. Boutique Dave, but not Boutique
on his day off,
Discovery. But I think by the time we decided to open ours, they had pretty much already finished off their bottle and had just gone running around to grab more off other tables where people were being more conservative,
but we should talk about the... The reason I'm going to talk about this is because it is a really easy sipper. I mean, it just is an easy sipper. It's a really pleasant whiskey. So, the Cutty Sark blend itself, I think they say it's like fresh and enticing with fruity and floral notes. I think that's pretty much bang on, right? Right. You use the word smooth. It is really smooth. I think you could throw it up again. What's it like 21, 22 quid, something like that. And the Prohibition's about 28
Well, I asked you, I did send a message to your dad and he said it's nice.
Nice. I think he would love this. Actually, we're always trying to find whiskey for the dads, which isn't too fancy, which is at a good price point for them. And I think I'm going to get them a bottle of Cutty Sark each. Because the Prohibition one, I love it, but 50% is probably a bit strong for them, right? In truth. They don't like it to be too strong because they're more likely to have it after a couple of beers, right? Or, from Maria's dad during the day.
Look, it gives them a goal to work to, do you know? They can build up to the Prohibition strength.
You'll get, it's basically like a kind of smooth, easy sipping, balanced whiskey. And again, vanilla, citrus notes in it. And it's kind of bright, it has a kind of like a vibrancy to it. You just can't go wrong with it. And honestly, I much preferred sipping that than no offense to anyone who ever picked the wine, no offense to whoever picked the wine. But for me, on the evening, I preferred to sip the whiskey during dinner, with everything, basically with.
It went really well as a dinner drink. Yeah. Weirdly, like really well. I don't know if that was just the vibe
we were in or if that was like a nailed on thing, right? Like, I'm not sure.
I embarrassed myself as well, but I don't think anyone clocked it. So I did my Glencairn swirl with the whiskey, but it was obviously in a wine glass we were drinking this out of. And the first swirl just went all over me.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
And quickly topped it up, looked around, no one saw it.
I think because they weren't expecting people to drink whiskey at the table, they only had wine glasses. So we're all sitting there drinking whiskey out of these wine glasses. But it's no issue, is it? Doesn't it? So at one point, I've got like a small bit of white wine, a small bit of red wine, which I've kind of like sacked off. And then just more whiskey in the glass than the other ones. So, you know where it went wrong. So I like the Cutty Sark sort of standard range whiskey. Prohibition, you sent to me blind. I tried that the other week. I picked that over Glengoyne Teapot Dram, didn't I? But slightly behind some 70s famous grouse. But it was blind, so that's the truth. And then they also launched a special whiskey on the night, didn't they? Which was...
So it was to mark the 100-year centenary. And it was finished. It was an Oloroso cask finished in port.
That was it.
Obviously, nautical theme.
Like 20 years or something like that in casks overall.
It was aged well. I don't know what the ABV is, how available it's going to be. Probably not that available.
It was very available at night, Mike. I'll tell you that much.
Strictly one per person.
Some saxophone player cutting through the crowd, and there's just loads of glasses of this. It was still a blend, though, wasn't it?
I thought it was single cask. Well, again,
I think it had to be a blend. So I think that the whiskey that they'd used, they'd taken it and they'd put it into these port casks to finish. So I think it was still a blend, but we'll have to get that confirmed. Right, but because at this point we're a little blurry in the evening, but my take on it from, I think, remembering the Master Blender's speech was that he'd taken whiskey, taken that whiskey out, and then they'd use those port casks to finish off this whiskey in some way. And I think it had like 5-year finish or something in port, maybe.
I can't remember the finishing. I'm sure we'll have it on a press release.
It was probably a blend that was in-housed into a few Oloroso casks for I think like 15 years or something, and then put into port. But anyway, it was a very bold, powerful whiskey. Yeah,
Lord, yeah, that was like probably on the night, maybe a bit much.
I didn't think so for me, but I mean, for lesser.
It would have been nice to sort of just sit down and chill with it.
But it was like pumping saxophone music going on.
Right, so 23-year-old. It's a blend of. It is a blend, and there's 1,435 bottles.
It's definitely finished in port cask. That much I know for sure. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was very bold, very powerful. But I think it was that stage in the evening where we couldn't really do tasting those. So I just remembered it as being a very
full,
rich,
absolutely
strong,
rich. That was
the
dessert,
kind of word that a politician would call it robust. Let's say it was robust, right?
We need robust action immediately, and everyone needs to drink.
So something else that was mentioned to us on the evening by Laurie was how many films or movies, if you're American, the Cutty Sark has been in. And so she mentioned a few, and I went online and had a look. And it turns out that I think Scorsese was quite a big fan of Cutty Sark because it featured in Raging Bull, Goodfellas, and Taxi Driver.
Isn't Taxi Driver?
I'm pretty sure they're all Scorsese films. If I'm wrong there, someone's going to... But I'm pretty sure they're all Scorsese films. Anyway, so in Goodfellas, I think Joe Pesci, Joey, asked for Cutty and water, and that was popular during the Prohibition period. So they were getting this whiskey over from London, and there was a person that was actually organising and distributing it to the sort of mobsters, and it was like their drink of choice. So it was really strong in mobster culture. So it must come between the crossover between sort of Scorsese and the mobster culture, because things were really intertwined in Hollywood, weren't they? A long time ago, when the world was cool, right? Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah, quite a long time ago. Really, we're talking like 60s.
I'm
aren't we?
I'm sure there's no mob influence in Hollywood.
So anyway, he cared about it so much that in Raging Bull. By the way, it made me rewatch the start of Raging Bull. Like he's just like jumping around in the ring, and it's like classical music playing. And I think I've seen that film like 3 times, and I just made a little note to myself: I have to watch that film again. It's incredible. But he was at a very particular point in his career, Scorsese, and basically he said he was going to tell them to take his name off the credits or something like that, or disassociate himself with the film in some way, because there was a point in the film where something was obscuring being able to see Cutty Sark. Yeah.
No way.
So he obviously really cared about the drink, or someone did that he cared about.
Or he'd had a significant amount of deliveries to make sure that was in shot.
Maybe it was more about the cinematography.
Yeah.
But it obviously was iconic at one point, right? So I couldn't find the bit that it was in Taxi Driver, but we're asking anyone that's listening, if you know the point when it's in Taxi Driver, let us know. I'm going to watch Taxi Driver again. I'm probably going to watch all 3 films again, because why not? They're all great. They're all great films.
You're so committed to this. I love it.
It's also been in a film called Green Bank or something. I've never even heard of that film, but it's in that one. It's in the series Mad Men, which I can confirm because I've watched all of the series of Mad Men, and they have loads of whiskey in that. They've got like Cutty Sark, loads of that. What's the Canadian one? Who was banging on about? Canadian Club. Like
Canadian Club. Oh,
they have
CC.
They have loads of like famous blends in that, as well as, to be fair, vodka and gin brands too. It's also apparently in an episode of Sex and the City. According to...
goes down a little bit.
Oh, and so I wondered, there was this classic time when Cutty Sark was featuring in some of the most iconic films made. And I wondered if it's been in anything iconic recently, because I guess in the last few years, kind of like the biggest films would probably feature stuff like Macallan.
Yeah, they'll all be single malt.
Exactly,
and stuff like
and it kind of
it's
mirrors the kind of like how the glamour of blends has died down a bit in the last 20 years or so. Whereas there was that point in the sort of 60s and 70s, because Mad Men is basically a show made about the 60s and 70s, and that was when they were glamorous blends. And it occurred to me that TV media is really reflecting how the world is sort of feels about, or how drinkers feel about, or how we're marketed to, like the sort of marketed to the glamour of these things. So it'd be really good to know from anyone that's listening any other appearances of Cutty Sark in like famous songs or famous TV or movies. So we've got Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, wow, Greenbank, Mad Men, Sex and the City, Sex and the City.
Just tape us off. That's
so
where
I did find it really interesting, especially the whole Cutty and Water reference, which is from Goodfellas, right? Yeah, Joe Pesci.
Right? I think that's, when Kevin throws something down, it wasn't, I always thought it was paint, but if you look closely, there's a bottle of Cutty Sark between the two paint tins.
Oh, right.
Smashes him in the face.
You're making it up now, aren't you?
I'm making that up, yeah. He's actually
is it? I'm going to go and look at that afterwards. YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, so anyway, top night out. Anything else you want to share from the night out?
I'm trying to think if there was. Who do we bump into? Once again, not really knowing who I'm talking to half the time when they're quite important people. I wouldn't say important, but well known. And got in the lobby of the hotel, the lobby. I was chatting to a lad from Sweden. And whilst we were waiting for someone to get ready. I won't say who.
That's me, probably.
It was you, yes. It was definitely you. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm from Sweden. I was like, oh, yeah, nice. He's like, what'd you do? Podcast, blah, 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 blah.
Podcast.
And then, towards the end of the night, Ian Allen sort of grabbed me and was like, oh, have you met, I could try and remember his name.
The guy that writes
really bad.
The Malt Review book.
The Malt
Yearbook, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who's like absolute legend. Class, like well known. Yeah.
But
and I'd been chatting to him for ages and just had
But that only really goes to highlight that we're just a couple of punters that make a podcast. So, you stick us in an event like that, we're not going to know everybody. So that was literally what was going on. We were just like, oh, okay, yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, I had a top night. So I just want to say thank you to Cutty Sark team for inviting us. We really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. And we do...
Ingvar Rond. Sorry, just remembered his name. Ingvar. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Sorry, Ingvar.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, you were lovely. He was really, really nice. And it's like, how the hell do you speak to like whiskey royalty to an extent and just clueless?
But anyway, I had a top night. So I think for me this week, that's all.
Yeah. Nothing else. So obviously follow along on all the usual socials at Honest or Malt. And if you want to just follow Duncan alone, I don't know why you would, but it's at Whiskey Tip. And likewise for myself, it's at Whiskey Wings. And we are again slowly migrating everyone over to Blue Sky. That community is growing nicely. So if anyone from Blue Sky happens to pick up on this at any point, build in something like TweetDeck and everyone will come run into you. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for listening and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. My nipple.
Yeah, thanks for that.